everyone, it's Cece, and we are going to talk about the Gingerbread Spice Palette from Too Faced today. I picked this up. This was kind of on my Sephora love list, but it was one of those that was kind of iffy. I was going back and forth between getting this or getting these two from Huda Beauty, the Obsessions palettes. And I know the Obsessions formulas were good, so I was like, should I get two different color schemes, or should I go for the palette? And I ended up getting this free with my Ulta points and the 20% off. So that worked out well for me. It was great. We are going to go in with a transition shade. And so the transition shade that I've been using lately is Looky at My Cookie, and it's a pink shade. But it's kind of neutral. And I am going to go in with like these shades today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Gingerbread Latte because that's kind of a nice neutral brown. And then maybe that later to blend it out. And then those just to give a little bit of warmth to this look. So this is my Sephora brush. It was like $10 and it is a favorite shape for a blending brush here. So that is very pigment. I just put a tiny bit on, and that shade is very pigmented. And it like really placed. It is blending out, but it really placed. So I guess I'm going to go in with an equal amount on this side and kind of do the same thing. I do love that Looky at My Cookie shade. This is the third time that I've been using this palette. The first time I went straight in with a color that I heard the worst things about, and that is Spice Syrup. Right here. It's in the bottom right-hand corner. And it was nice on my lid, but it worked, and it still looked pretty. But that was, the reason I went for it immediately was because at the beginning, that was the shade I was, kind of intrigued about, getting kind of into the taupes a little bit more, although that's not what we're going to use today. Taupes and gray tones, a little bit more, and which is kind of where I've started out in makeup, big time. And wanted to go for that. So we're going to use Hot Toddy, which I think is a duochrome, and it's rusty, maybe purple, right there with the brush strokes in it. And that is on my brush. I'll move this forward a little bit. So I'm going to keep that on the inner 2/3. It is much smoother than the Spiced Rum. And the second shade that I used, which I loved a lot, was Bake It Till You Make It, which is right here, right there by my middle finger. Sorry about that. So yes, we're going to keep that on the inner 2/3. And I just got to talk. Oh, that's the wrong side of the brush. Just got to talk to my daughter. She was on her way to a meeting at school. She went to Starbucks first. And I think she's doing really well. Sometimes I feel like she doesn't want to share a lot. I don't know. Is that normal? I think it is. Maybe some things. I think it's so cool, But I think she's like, it's just my everyday life. There's nothing really exciting happening. She does not go to a party school. I can tell you that much. It's a widely commuter school. I'm going to go into Figgy Pudding, which is a deep purple matte in the palette. We're going to use that in the outer corner. It's a widely commuter school. She lives there. And I know she's been to some events. I know there's some that she hasn't been to. Um, but they seem to have actually a lot of events for, a wide commuter school like that. So, but I know she has to study, and that's number one. She always makes it number one. So, she's volunteering at a hospital. She had to get, the, is it the BCI fingerprinting done? So she got that done. When she went there the first time, their machine was down, so she had to go back. She's working. She's doing really well. She did come home. Oh, the plan is kind of like for her to come home once a month in her mind, I think. And she had done that, and then the next week we got a puppy. Did I tell you about the puppy? I think I did on Instagram, but so it's only been a week, so I don't know what it is yet. We haven't been to the vet quite yet. My husband texted the whole family, not just me. And he's like, "Do we want a puppy?" And of course, the girls were like, "Oh my gosh, yes, what kind?" Blah, blah, blah. Well, he was at a customer's house. He does water treatment stuff. Yes. Anyway, he was at someone's house, and it was this 82-year-old woman who her son, I guess, had found a trash bag full of puppies. There were 6, and 3 of them didn't make it. And a couple people took the other 2, and she asked if he would want one. And I couldn't say no. You know, who says no to that? I'm like, why are you even asking at this point? Because it looked like to me like it was going to be a little bit bigger. You know, I knew it was a puppy. I don't even know how long this lady had them, but oh my gosh. So of course she was scared. At first, of course. And we do have the other 2 dogs. And she's sweet. Her face looks like a terrier, but I think she's going to be pretty big, which is not necessarily my type of dog. I like little fluffy Shih Tzus mostly. But she is sweet. She is learning to go potty. She is sort of learning not to chew things. Toys only. She's doing well. She's doing really well. She's obviously growing, obviously. She drives the other dogs nuts, 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 and they love it. I'm taking the deep brown shade, and just putting that really close to my upper lash line, over the purple that I just put there, kind of smudging them together, I think. I think that's what I'm doing. So her name is Coco. So we FaceTimed my daughter, as soon as we got her, basically. And she had said she was thinking about coming home, but didn't really want to drive. And she had actually asked her friend if he wanted to pick her up. And her friend that night, that Friday night or Thursday night, maybe, went after school. He goes to school here. He goes on these drives where he basically has no plan. and just drives in a direction and then, comes home. Well, he ended up in New York State, which New York City from us is like 9 hours away. So I'm not sure which part of New York he was in, but I would say he was at least 7 hours away, at least. And hit a deer and totaled his car. So that kind of, that ruined her plans, I guess. And of course, even though he's 18, he was grounded probably for a long time, I would guess. And but I don't want to talk about anybody else's life, but this kid, super smart. But I think like a lot of 18-year-olds, and my children can be there one day too. I think it's a confusing time in life for them. And like this kid's super smart. Super. Just gonna add a little bit of the hot toddy color back in. This color is gorgeous. And it applies very nicely. It's a little glittery. I always feel like, oh, I'll just, put a matte in there and then it'll be fine. But it's a little glittery. I'm going to work. Can you see? It's a little bit of color there too, with the purple and the so I'm gonna use Sugar Daddy and just use that kind of as a blending out. I think I did go into Looking My Cookie, but I'm not even sure. Just use a little bit of Sugar Daddy as a blend out. It's a little bit lighter. The Looking at My Cookie, I think, is a little bit more neutral. All right. So this is, and I did take that brown, which is Reindeer Paws, both on the bottom lash line to blend out and close to the top lash line as kind of a liner. So I've used this palette 3 times, and my main lid colors were Hot Toddy, Bake It Till You Make It, and Spiced Rum. So that one, this one, this one. I feel like I definitely need to go into this one, like this area here. Use some of the oranges. There's still a lot of colors that I need to use in it. So generally when I get a new palette, especially when I have 6 of them, I try to use the palette like 3 times and then kind of move on to the other one. But that one's I probably still will move on, but I'm gonna keep it right here in my like everyday type makeup drawer. And I'm gonna open up that inner corner with a little bit of my Hourglass Metallic Light palette here, Metallic Highlight. And I'll go in with the goldish shade, I think. Gold, yeah. It's not too, I think I put a lot on there. It's usually not too yellow or too anything, so it works pretty well, but I put a lot on. It'll fade a little bit throughout the day. But I think that adds a lot to that inner corner there. And I appreciate that. I am going to curl my lashes. I always try to heat up the lash curler. My light bulbs that I currently have don't heat up very well. They're at least, I don't know, whatever. New type. I don't even know what they are. Oh, there's my mascara. Guys, I've been having, Tarte has been my favorite mascara for years. I mean, I would say 15 years. I remember that I always liked Lancome Definitions. Um, and it was a little, I didn't mind getting the free gift, but then Sephora happened. And they used to have kits that were only available to their beauty insiders. Do you remember that? And they were always like, they were kind of like a today's special value type thing from QVC at the time, which was always like more like the 40, 35, $40 range. And the girl was like, "Oh, yes, you need Tarte's the best mascara." And it had a few products in that kit that I liked, and I don't remember everything, but one product was their stick cheek color, and that was all I used for years as well. I had a pretty big collection of those. Love those. I thought those were great. One of my favorite colors towards the end of using that was the Cloud 9, which was like shimmery pink with a lilac kind of tone to it. Because I think, actually, with my skin tone, I think that lilac color looks pretty good, but I've kind of shied away from it a little bit this year. I don't know why, but I have. Oh, I did put I was like, did I put the base on? So this is a Lancome Sills Booster XL. It's just a sample, and I had opened it and I'm enjoying it. And then the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty came around, and they had this is one of the products in there. So I did pick up one of these in a full size. It'd be hard for me to buy a mascara primer at full price, but when it's half price, why not? Or sample size. Everyone that I've used, I've basically liked. So I know I'm off camera here, but I'm gonna blend that highlight in my inner corner just a little bit more. You guys, I feel like I have like New Year's Eve eyes on this hot toddy. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna wear it to work, but I feel like it's a little much. All right, so I've already sprayed my face with, I'm just going to reach into here what I can with my Smashbox Primer Water, and I'm going to use some of the Becca First Light Priming Filter. Yes, the purple shade primer. I really like this a lot. It kind of, I'll give you a little review of this. It goes into the skin pretty well. It's thin, but I feel like it gives me a base. Does it brighten my skin? Probably a little bit. I feel like it does, even with, foundation over it. I've also been into um, trying out my foundations for a few days in a row lately as well. Oops. Trying to be careful here because sometimes I'm not, and that is working against me. Um, all right, we'll go in with the Becca. It's the color Fair Aqua Luminous, and it's a kind that's in the dropper. And so I'm shaking it, trying to shake it pretty well here. There we go. You just pump it. Let's see. I don't have much room here for some reason today. feel like my left eye waters a lot, and I feel like it's already watering, which stinks. Oh, usually I go in and clean up kind of my eye. There's not a whole lot of fallout, but let's kind of straighten it up anyway. There we go. There we go. Just kind of give it a little bit of a sharp upward look there. Flipping my mirror around so I can see my face. Okay, maybe one thing I don't love about this foundation, maybe a couple things. For the shade Fair, it is dark and orangish. I feel like when it's on my skin, I'm okay. But a lot does not come out of this little dropper at a time. This is like 4 or 5 drops. And you guys know I use a lot less makeup than, like your typical beauty person on YouTube. But I've liked this foundation when I got it. Um, it is looking orange. I don't think it looks too orange on my skin, but as you press it in, kind of does. So what else has been new? I would love to hear down below in the comments what's been new with you. You saw my hauls. I started this channel as, a beauty channel because these will definitely were the videos I watched. But my most watched, well, far was one on the Foreo Lumina. But I don't think I really got a lot of subscribers from that video. People watch though, like 6.7 thousand. I saw this past week. But my most watched videos are my Bath and Body Works candle hauls and anything that has to do with those. And I love. It's kind of a new thing for me, like collecting them and everything. Um, but I still like makeup more. Nice. Just left the real hole on the floor. Um, so that that's just kind of wanted to let you guys know that my makeup videos aren't watched as much as my Bath and Body Works ones. And I probably do a better job at those because they're a little bit easier. But, I've said before, I don't have the filming space, I don't have the filming equipment. I just do this for my own entertainment, really. But I saw a lady, jeez, I just watched her yesterday. Um, I was watching some Sephora hauls from the sale because I find those extraordinarily interesting and entertaining. Although nobody ever seems to get the same things as I do. Is that crazy? Is that weird? Okay, so this concealer is a little bit lighter than the foundation. So I'm going to kind of use it to my advantage today and give myself some highlight with it. So that foundation is definitely dark, especially for fair. I could see if I got light. It's leaning towards medium, I would say almost. Um, Oops, very silent here. Very silent. Just making sure I kind of get everything blended in. This is the Tarte Rainforest to the Sea concealer. One I really want to work on using up. Really do. So I'm really just bouncing this in. I don't even remember. I don't even think I used like a second coat anywhere. When I used this in the summer, I really liked it. We 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 want this more luminous foundation when our skin's a little drier, right? Hmm. I feel like there's some places it's not sinking in. I'm gonna let that set for just a moment. Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna actually grab my phone here. There's a, oops. All right. So I like my eyeshadow currently. I think it's a little bit bright. When I'm looking at the iPad, I feel like it shifts really gold. Yeah. Do you see that? When I look in the mirror, I do not see that. I only see the gold on my inner corner, which kind of shifts pretty big itself. I really wanted to talk about the gingerbread palette today, and I wanted to give you my opinion on it. Um, and again, I've used it 3 times. So I'll tell you the colors I haven't used, or I'll tell you about the colors I have. Let's do that. So I think I've used powdered sugar once on the brow bone. I haven't found a brow bone color I like as much as the Laura Geller baked French vanilla. I like that on my brow bone. I've used Sugar Daddy in the inner corner. It was very sheer, but it looked pretty. Okay. I've now used, oh wait, that's Frostbite Me. I'm sorry. It's very glittery. And the glitter stayed in that inner corner. Okay. So I've used Sugar Daddy today as an upper highlight, upper blending color, and it worked very nice. I have not used Spike Eggnog yet. I have used Looky at My Cookie as a blending color twice. Loved it. Love that shade. Today in the outer corner, I used Figgy Pudding, and I think that color worked very well for a purple because it's a pretty bright purple, as you can see there. Um, it gave it the look depth. There wasn't patchy. I think it worked very well. Gumdrop I haven't used. I don't know if I'll ever use that, you guys. Let's see. Since I'm saying that, let's use a tiny bit as a blending color. And I mean, I don't even know if there's. Emily Noel does this sometimes. With her, with more color in her complexion and her deeper hair, sometimes it looks really pretty. Okay, well, that's probably as far as I'll go with that, but it worked. In fact, Sugar Daddy, help me out over on this side. For some reason, I don't even need it on that side, but just the one side, it was a little bit too much. All right, I have not used Spice is Nice, which that should be a pretty much given color, but it looks beautiful as well. I have used Hot Toddy today, and I think it's gorgeous. It applied well. It just might be a little much for every day, but that's our interesting color. It's different than what you normally see ever. That's a great color to have. If I were to go out at night, this would look great with lashes, although I've never worn lashes in my life, but this would look good. That might be a great Christmas color. That might be, New Year's. This palette might be worth it for that color. Gingerbread. I've used at some point. Oh, snap, I've used like that a lot. I wish they would stop making these mattes with shimmers. I've used this color a lot, Reindeer Paws. I haven't used Warm and Toasty. Golds really aren't my thing. Bake It Till You Make It was a much more wearable edition of Hot Toddy, I think. It has a little bit of pink in it, but not as much bright pink or red, a little more neutral. We use this today, Gingerbread Latte. And then I haven't used Burn or Spice of Life, really looking to use Spice of Life. And I told you, spiced rum, not the easiest to apply, but it did work and it was beautiful on. So just need, slight bit of patience with it. I don't know if it would work any better wet. It's a pretty dry shadow. And it's a good color. It's gorgeous. So I would still definitely consider using it. So really, I'll probably use Warm and Toasty somewhere, that gold shade. It's an antique gold, and I might use that once or twice. Gumdrop might be the only really unusable shade in here for me, and I just used it now. So I think it can work, especially if you could really go neutral. Um, this palette has a lot in it. It has some purples. It has a little bit of taupe. It has greens, it has pinks, it has neutrals, it has warm neutrals. It's got a lot in it, and I would definitely recommend this. As far as the scent, it's light, and I don't think it's really gingerbready spicy at all. But I think this is a great palette, and I would definitely suggest picking it up. Since I'm just letting my makeup sit, I'm not going to finish off the look, just the eyes for you today and the foundation. But let me know if you want to see a review on anything else, and we'll stop it here. Thank you so much for joining me. To my channel, of course, but I love it even more if you just comment below and talk to me. So thanks so much. I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you soon.